Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in Vaishnav Sadachar series, we have discussed till now about cleanliness and hygiene. We have discussed about the dress and appearance. We also discussed about putting tilak, offering dandavats, that is paying obeisances. Now, one of the important things that happens when people come together is they start talking. So, speech determines the quality of that person, what grade of person that a devotee is. Therefore, speech is a very, very important thing. Therefore, we see our acharyas multiple times they have highlighted this. Take, for example, Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami. In the first shloka, he starts with Vacho Vegam, the urge of speaking. In the second shloka, Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpa, again talking. Because the speech is very, very important. The energy that we use in speaking, that energy is not our energy. It is given by the Lord. So how that energy should be utilized is what is a very, very important thing that every devotee, every Vaishnav should meditate on. So what we shouldn't speak, let's highlight on that first. And after that, we'll also discuss what we should speak. Superficially, on a high-level platform, we'll discuss about these two topics. So an acronym for what not to speak is FAST, F-A-S-T, destruction, D. FAST D is what is the acronym of what not to speak. So fast destruction of what? Bhakti. So when we do this fast D, there will be fast destruction of Bhakti. So what does this F-A-S-T-D stands for? Let's discuss this. And let's pray to the Lordships that we'll be able to avoid these different things so that we can advance in devotional service very nicely. First one, F, that is fault finding. See, one thing that is very clear is as soon as we come in the crowd, we start seeing others, and in that entire white sheet, the first thing that we'll find is the black spot. That's the natural human tendency. And you know what that black spot is all about? That black spot is a black spot which is there in our existence, in our image. Very nicely here it says, fault finding arises only from imposing one's own bad habits on others. So whatever we have within us, that's what we'll see outside in others. Now when it comes to authorities, when it comes to spiritual masters, when they find faults with a mood to correct their subordinates, and the subordinates are eager to get the correction, that's a different thing altogether. That's bhakti. But here we are talking about unnecessarily, without being authority of anyone, just going around finding faults in people and then talking about that fault to others. Oh, this is very, very destructive. Very destructive. Therefore, we have nothing to do with faults of others. Really, if we are wishing good about a person and we feel that, okay, this is a big fault that is there and this devotee, will fall away from this path of bhakti. If really that concern is there, we should understand who is the authority of that person, spiritual authority. Go and talk to that spiritual authority. That this devotee is doing so and so, this is a big fault, something will happen, please take care. And after we tell this, we forget. Therefore, it's a very, very important thing that one shouldn't be getting into this very, very, very abominable thing called fault finding. In fact, there are so many seminars on this. There's so many senior devotees giving seminars on how not to get into fault finding. So we can imagine that how natural fault-finding tendency is in everyone, including ourselves. So F is fault-finding. Second is argument, A, argument. Now, one thing I have to understand is that if these arguments are not based on Vedic scriptures, it's all time waste. Another very important thing. How does these useless arguments come into picture? Few things to note. They arise from envy or pride. The first one. So whenever we are arguing with someone, we are putting some arguments. Either we are envious or we are proud. Third one. Because of aversion or attachment to sense gratification. Either we are averse to do that particular thing, that particular act, because that person is doing, and that particular act of his is not going to help me to do my sense gratification, that aversion or the attachment to that sense gratification is going to give rise to this particular thing, that is argument. We'll argue for and against for my sense gratification. And then out of foolishness also, we will get into argument. So envy, pride, and then aversion or attachment to sense gratification, and foolishness. These are the 4 reasons why a person will get into argument. And such arguments are useless. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhakti Alok, he makes it very emphatic and he says that this is useless. The next thing that is mentioned is that if, say, when we come together and there is an argument that is happening, and this argument is about what is good and what is bad, when such deliberations are based on Vedic scriptures, then it's correct. Then it's no more prajalpa, it's no more a mundane argument, but it goes on to the spiritual platform, because here the discussion is about the good and bad for the progress of devotional service, of one's own progress of devotional service. Also, another very important thing, when the discussion is to establish one's relationship with Krishna, that thing is also a very amazing thing. That will also not come under argument. Therefore, whenever we get into some argument, we have to ask this question: am I envious of that person, so am I speaking all this? Am I proud of that person, so am I speaking about all this? Or is it because that person is helping me or taking my sense gratification away? Or is it because of my foolishness that I'm arguing? So this argument is something that has to be avoided, because time is very short. Why to spend time in doing all this and wasting the precious energy of speech in argument? So F, fault finding. A is argument. Now S is speaking nonsense. See, one thing is very clear. Now, since all of us, we have come from a background of huge materialism, so whatever we have done before coming to bhakti is but obvious nonsensical activities. And all that nonsensical activities will naturally come after some time in the devotee association. Why after some time? Initially, we are very conscious. Have you seen small kids? When small kids come to new area, new place, new house of someone else's new house, so at that time they'll be quiet. They'll just keep observing around. And once they become familiar, then you cannot hold them. They'll just go around and throw things, break things, and do whatever. Initial span that is there, they take just to analyze things around, people around, how they are, how they behave, and after that they begin. Same thing we also do. We are like small kids. When we come in devotee association, at that time it's all good. We keep ourselves a very nice, pure devotee. We speak also like that. All that is taken care. And once we start becoming familiar with people, once we develop friendship with other devotees, and once we get into intimate talks with each other, at that time, all those past samskaras which are there, all that nonsensical things or nonsensical material things comes into picture. Some things, to list here, what are the nonsensical things that we might speak, which we should avoid is, first one is the celebrity news, say Bollywood, Hollywood, Tollywood, whatever, cricket, politics, any other sports for that matter. Coming together, devotees discussing about politics, what will happen now, what will happen there, or discussing about some sports, or discussing about some celebrity's life, no, she ran away with this celebrity, oh, this celebrity did this, oh, this new movie has come. It doesn't suit the title devotee or Vaishnav. Second thing, our past anarthas coming in the form of movie dialogues, movie songs. Now when we come together and we start, our devotees asking, so Prabhuji, how was your past? Can you please explain? Oh, my past was so nice. These movies I had watched, and I tell you, that movie was so wonderful, and that song in that movie was so wonderful, sung by so and so singer, and the background music given by so and so an artist, and the heroine was looking so nice, and the hero was looking so nice. Gone. Gone. This is a very important thing, that we might have anarthas here, but let not allow that to come on the tongue and spoil other devotees' consciousness. So movie dialogues, movie songs, etc., etc., all that is nonsense. There's no question. When we come together in the association of devotees, no, we shouldn't be speaking all that. Next thing is unnecessarily speaking without any reason, just taking some topic and speaking, taunting someone. That is another thing that is very bad. Pulling someone's leg. Now, when it comes to devotees, it's not good, to pull someone's leg and make him a joker in front of everyone, or sarcastically speaking, hyping things. Maybe the person is not like that, but then extra glorifying that person, hyping up the glorification, or artificially glorifying in a way where we want to convey some negativity. This is all something which is very bad, nonsense. Yeah. And the next thing is criticizing. So since Lord has sent us to this material world to find faults or criticize people, we'll do that. So we are not here for that. But still, all these things will come. Criticizing. Again, unless and until we are not an authority, there's no question of criticizing any devotee. Therefore, we hear from all the senior Vaishnavas that if a person is on the path of advancement of Krishna consciousness, that person will focus on finding good in others and glorifying that, not wasting time, in doing all these different things of criticizing people. The worst part is blaspheming. Now just imagine when people come together and then we are blaspheming someone. Oh, that's very bad. Blaspheming a sadhu, blaspheming a devotee is one of the big impediment on the path of devotional service. First. Second, even blaspheming Devi Devtas is a big offense that is there. So there's no question of blaspheming Devi Devtas. And also blaspheming the Lord. Sometimes when there are devotees who have just entered devotional service, maybe a few days, few weeks, a few months, and say they have got a background of Mayavad, and they start speaking about various things in the association of devotees, and they say that Lord is formless, the Lord's form is Maya, and we can become one with the Lord. My goal is to become one with the Lord. I am God. All this is nonsense. So immediately the full stop has to be put because it's nonsense. Therefore, it's very, very important that we understand what is the tattva, what is the siddhanta of Krishna consciousness. So more we do Shravanam from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, more we understand that what is nonsense and what makes sense. And we avoid whatever is nonsense. So we should avoid speaking that. Yeah. And many of the times we might have done mistake and we are good at justifying that. What to do? We have done that before coming to Bhakti, so we'll continue doing that. So justifying one's own mistake is also a nonsensical talk, because we will not gain anything and the other person will also not gain anything. Again, it's not proper. Glorifying one's own self. This is suicidal. When we glorify one's own self in front of other devotees, what does that mean? This is suicidal. And suicidal is a crime. Suicide is a crime. Therefore, what is there to glorify? We are another, dirt in this material world. Another insignificant personality in this material world. We hardly have any existence. We are not even anywhere close to pure devotional service. Now, where is the question of glorification? Therefore, we always say, why hanker for glorification in this world? Hanker for glorification in that world. And when people of that world start glorifying us, it means we have done something substantial for this mission of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, glorifying oneself. So these are different nonsensical things which are there. Therefore, one should stop speaking this nonsense. F, fault finding, and then A, arguments, and the third one is speaking nonsense. And the fourth one is T, F-A-S-T, right? This is what we're discussing. T, talking about others. Now, this is another material thought process which comes in the form of speech, where all few devotees are there and some devotees missing there. And talking about that person who is missing. This is what happens in the material circles. And same contamination we carry here in the spiritual circles also. And we start talking about, say, that devotee was missing, or talking about some senior devotee, or talking about, some, say, the men have come together and they're talking about Mataji, and Matajis have come together and they're talking about some Prabhuji. This is all nonsense. This is talking about others, uselessly talking about others, which is just waste of time and nothing else. Therefore, here it is said, talking without reason about other people is extremely adverse to devotional service. Very, very important point. Extremely adverse. It's not just said adverse, it's extremely adverse to devotional service. And you know who has made this statement? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has made this statement in Bhakti Alok. And why people talk about others? Very nice analysis by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, many people talk about others to establish their own reputation. Now say someone is doing better than us. So we try to talk about them and put them down just to establish our own reputation. Oh, this is so demoniac. This is so demoniac. Being envious. Since we are envious of that person, we want to pull that person down. So what do? They start discussing their character and put their character down. Because we're envious. So we want to establish ourselves at the top. So we pull that person down. Can you imagine? This is so abominable. Now outside people, when they are looking at us as devotees and say we are in the association. And in that association, when we come together and discuss all this and say by chance that, say, some person is hearing us, then we can imagine what impression, what image we have given about the devotee association to those people, the newcomers. Therefore, there are cases where the newcomers have come to the association of devotees, they have heard such talks, and they have said, oh, what is the difference between outside people and here? We thought they're spiritual, but now we are understanding they are just ritual. They're just ritualistically doing something without any transformation of the heart. Therefore, it's very, very important that we don't get into this. That is, talking about others unnecessarily. And why do we talk about others? Few more things that is given is, to summarize, envy, hatred, pride, and distinction. These are four things. When we have these four things, envy about others, which we have already discussed, hatred towards them, then we start talking about them in a very bad manner, ill way. Fourth is pride. We are proud, we have that superiority complex, and then no one else is there better than me. And distinction. We are expecting Pujala Pratishtha for ourselves. So at that time, we'll get into all this. And here it is said, such people are offenders at the feet of Bhakti Devi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying in Bhakti Alok. Therefore, it's very, very detrimental. Another very important thing, the word gossip. Uselessly speaking about something which we don't know if it has really happened or not happened. अरे पता है मैंने ये सुना, लेकिन नहीं मैं नहीं बताऊंगा. नहीं अरे तू बता तो, मैं किसी को नहीं बताऊंगा, तू पक्का किसी को नहीं बताएगा. And then the other devotee like, pakka, I swear I'll not tell anyone. And then you tell that person. And you're also not sure if it has really happened or not happened or whatever. And then that person will go and tell other, pata hai, Kartikeya Das told me something and he has told not to tell anyone. But I'll tell you because you're very close to me, but make sure you don't tell anyone. Can you imagine this entire nonsensical chain that gets established in the association of devotees? When we are supposed to come together and be tightly connected, these nonsensical talks, especially talking about others and the gossip, splits the entire association. Because we start speaking ill about someone to some other devotee. Now that devotee, when that looks at that person, now the image of that person is so shabby. And that might not be true. And we have spoilt that entire bonding that is there, with the devotees. Now that devotee will not be able to respect that devotee, other devotee whom we have spoken ill about. And because this devotee is not able to respect that devotee, this devotee will not progress. And who is the reason for that? Me. Correct? Therefore, this is again very, very bad that is there. So, F-A-S-T. F stands for fault finding. A, argument. S, speaking nonsense. T, talking about others. And last one, D, that is debates. So debates arise only from a desire for conquest, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. And it is extremely abominable. So whenever we get into a debate with devotees or with outsiders, which is not going to take us closer to Krishna, we have to understand it's just waste of time. So why are we speaking and wasting that precious energy that Krishna has given us? Why are we wasting that? So in this way, FASTD, if not avoided, what will happen? Fast destruction of bhakti will happen. Therefore, FASTD, fast D, is the acronym which we have to meditate on and try to avoid that. Now the question comes, when we come together, then what to speak? Because we are used to FASTD only outside in the outside world. Now when we come in the association of devotees, what should we speak? And the solution that is given is, first and foremost, talk about the Lord. When we do proper reading of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, when we are hearing more and more lectures, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, various other scriptures, which if we hear, then we'll have some substance and then we can speak that, we can share that with devotees. What goes in, that comes out. Simple. The same thing will come out. If garbage is going in, the garbage will come out. If nectar is going in, nectar will come out. So in this way, it's very important that we do proper shravanam, proper reading of scriptures. Then we'll be able to share glories of the Lord, glories of the devotees. And glorifying the devotees in an appropriate manner for whatever service they have done or whatever nice bhakti they are doing. This can be another topic. This can be another topic that we can have a discussion or speech. We can speak about it. Next thing is that when we come together, serious devotees will always discuss about how to advance in bhakti. They'll discuss about what are the different scope for improvement. So all the time, the entire meditation of a devotee who is serious and sincere in bhakti is all about, okay, I have to advance on the path of bhakti. So I'm lacking at this point. Prabhu, can you please help me? I'm struggling with this anartha. Prabhu, can you please help me? Have you read something? Have you heard something to overcome this particular thing? I'm stuck in this particular problem. Can you please help me out to come out of this? I want to chant better. Do you have some tips? Can we discuss about this topic? I read from Bhagavatam that this particular topic, but I'm not actually understanding that. How can I implement this in my day-to-day life? Oh, this is a constructive discussion. A very, very productive discussion, a very important thing, which will help us to advance in devotional service. And finally, a very, very important thing, we have to take a vow. All of us as devotees should take a vow that I will never criticize or blaspheme a devotee. I'll never do that. Because criticizing and blaspheming a devotee, that's Vaishnava Aprad, and Vaishnava Apradhi has no space in the association of devotees. Krishna will just pick us up and throw us somewhere. And don't know which lifetime will come back to devotee association. So in this way, when a Vaishnava speaks, he speaks in such a way which is pleasing, which is truthful, which is so nice to hear. And it's very, very important. It doesn't agitate people. There's a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Anudvegam karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. So Anudvega, that is Anudvega karam vakyam. He doesn't disturb people by his speech, agitate people by his speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam. He speaks truth. Speaking lie is also something which is not proper. And then Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam. Pleasing. His speech is pleasing. His speech is very nice, sweet. And then satyam priyam hitam. So he speaks only those subject matters which will help the other person, not deteriorate other person's consciousness. So in this way, as devotees, one of the important Vaishnav Sadachar, an important Vaishnav etiquette is our speech. So our speech should be proper. Our speech should be such that which will help us to advance in bhakti, and also help others who are listening to us to advance in devotional service. So in this way, we have to make sure that we avoid FASTD and speak about those subject matters which will help us to advance in devotional service. Hare Krishna.